Thank you. So a little bit of the B-flat partita of Bach. So that is, that's just a big part of my warm-up because it's very cleansing, very clarifying, very cleans out my ears. I am so thrilled to have the floating emojis back this week. They were gone last week, I think, through this Facebook transition, and I so appreciate them. They're the silent applause, and I just love to see that you're listening. So if you're on my mailing list at lisaspector.com, you would have received an email yesterday with me playing the last movement, the jig of that, in my pajamas. It's because Bach, I love Bach in the morning. It's so refreshing, and I often play it in my pajamas. And the next part is also some of my warm-up, a little more for my finger work coming up. So I'm going to play 4 preludes. So there's, just do a little recap, hi Michael, little recap of some things I've talked about, so I won't spend too much time on it. There's 2 books of Bach preludes and fugues. I'm only playing preludes because I'm over 50, and when I turned 50, I decided just because I can do something doesn't mean I need to do something. If you can relate, give me a floating heart on that. So I can play the fugues because I play them to myself all the time, but I no longer play them in public. So I'm only playing the preludes. And so there's 2 books, there's 48 preludes and fugues, and I'm doing some from book 1 and some from book 2. So I'm gonna do D major for book 1, D major prelude of book 2, moving on to E major book 1, and then C sharp major book 1. So when I was 14 years old, thanks again for the hearts, I guess you can relate to, when you turn 50 or whatever age, hopefully you can get it when you're 40, just because you can do something doesn't mean you need to. So sorry, lost my train of thought. The Preludes, the C sharp major. So when I was 14 years old, it was my debut recital, and I did 3 preludes and fugues. I was young, I did fugues in public, and the C sharp major was the 3rd of the 3 that I did. I did the E major also. So 4 preludes from the well-tempered clavier. Thank you. Hearts. I would also say that the Bach preludes have been a big part of my not only emotional recovery, but physical recovery. Thanks for the hearts. Particularly the first D major, it's a bigger stretch for my hand. So what I've noticed, which is obvious, but I never really thought about it before, is the further back you go, so in Baroque music, a lot of these, Bach was born in 1685, so music written in the 1700s, and a lot of these composers were born around 1685. The further back you go, the smaller hand reach is required. You know, everything. The keyboard was smaller because they were written for harpsichord and clavichord. It wasn't the grand piano we know today. People were probably smaller, hand reach was probably smaller, so Bach has been a big part of my hand recovery because it's all about gaining extension and reach. So Bach has helped me do that. There's more Bach early on that I could play. Now I'm well into recovery, and as you know, if you went to my El Chopin Facebook Live, I'm doing big romantic works and Rachmaninoff and so forth and getting there. But still, there are some basic things I'm still working on. So that first D major really has helped a lot with stretches. So, and it's, again, just very purifying as well. So I am going to go into two left-hand pieces, and just give me a second if I can grab these. The Sicilian is here. And check one thing. So moving on to two pieces for left hand only. So this is the Sicilian of Bach, originally written for flute and then transcribed by Paul Wittgenstein after he lost his right arm in World War I. He transcribed a lot of music, so flute into left hand only. Hi Carol, so you're listening from Colorado. And then moving into the Vivaldi Four Seasons, one of the movements, the slow movement from Spring from Four Seasons, which is for violin plus orchestra. It's very famous, which I arranged for left hand only. So I'm going to be doing these two more quiet, contemplative, beautiful, lyrical pieces. So I invite you to take a deep breath and take the beauty of this in, long lyrical lines, and feel free again to write your emotions that you're experiencing as you listen. And also, love to know where you're listening from. If you're new to our weekly Facebook Lives, and hi Joe, and looking who else is here. If you're new to our Facebook Lives, I'd love to know where you're listening from. And all emotions welcome. So I need to grab this. Thank you. I grab my next music. Okay, so I'm confused. Is that using? Where is it? Okay, I know. Give me 1 second, please. Here. So Gina was looking at me. She looked up at me as if I forgot to tell you something. There. I forgot. So both of those pieces, thank you for the hearts, both of those pieces are also on my preview, my demo for my new album coming up. I'm coming up with 2 albums. One is Left Hand Lemonade with all left hand music that I have been learning as I've been recovering from my right hand injury for 4 surgeries to heal 7 fractures. And the other is Doggone Calm, music that's shown to be calming for dogs and relieve anxiety issues. So I have a 19-minute demo of that that's free. If you go to myzenpet.com and log in your email address, you get 19 minutes. And those 2 tracks, the Bach Sicilian for left hand and the Vivaldi for left hand, along with other left hand music and other slow classical compositions, are there for your dogs, but people love it too. It's great for grandmas and babies. It's just relaxing all around. So that's at myzenpet.com. So I couldn't close, I mean, I'm not closing yet, but I couldn't, let me just check on something. I couldn't do a Baroque program without doing something by Handel. Even though he really didn't write that much for piano, there's a lot of transcriptions. So Handel, also born in he was actually born in 1650, also born in 1685, sorry. Vivaldi was one, I think, born in 1678. So Handel, of course, we know the Messiah, and he also wrote beautiful operas. So this is actually a transcription of a piece from Ronaldo, an opera, which I know we have some Alexander, we have some other Erica, we have some other opera fans here. We're all missing San Francisco Opera. I used to go to so many of the Met Opera live simulcast in the theaters as well. So this is just a theme from Ronaldo of Handel. So it's just simple and beautiful. I invite you to listen and, again, share your emotions that you're experiencing while you listen. So based on Gina's reaction, I might put that on my dog album too. So thank you, we'll see. So this is, what do you know, I'm on schedule. So I'm not behind. Thank you so much. Glad you enjoyed that. That was very new for me. All the other music I've been playing for a while, but that was new for me and nice. Again, it just had like, it's got so much space in it. It's got these big pauses, you know, where the opera singer takes breaths, and it's just, I love all the breath in it, which I just find that I need. This time is all about slowing down and getting clearer and cleaning out our lives and so forth. So it's good music for this period of time. So this next piece breaks off a little bit from Baroque. So this is, give me one moment, left-hand music, and I have played this a few times on my 17 Facebook Lives. I did the first one March 28th, then that was Group Muse sponsored, and then I took a week off to kind of formulate this program, and then launched Left Hand Lemonade the beginning of April. And so this is my 17th. I didn't think I'd make it beyond 4. I didn't think I had enough music. Wasn't planning on, none of us were planning on this, continuing on this long. And there's nothing I'd rather be doing with my time right now than learning music, preparing music, performing music, spending this time with you, dressing up for this. It's really been the highlight of my shelter in place time, and I've heard from so many of you, I love your stories about how it's been the highlight of your week, and it gives you something to do every Saturday night. I just love it. And so I thank you for really spending your time with us. I appreciate it. So this is the next piece, is the biggest piece in the program, and the reason it branches off a little bit from Baroque is because it was written by Bach. So this is the Bach Chaconne written for violin, and transcribed by Brahms. I wrote Brahms' late Romantic for left-hand piano when Clara Schumann injured her right hand. She had tendonitis. I just remembered I'm going to do my reading tonight because I'm on schedule. So can you give me 1 second? Gina, can you entertain them? And I have to go grab my paper that is a reading that from my memoir. I'm going to share it with you. Hold on 1 second. Oh, man, I forgot. You have to get up. Okay. Okay. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, go to your bed. Okay. And thank you. And I will tell you, I know I've been promising these tricks for Gina. It's just so hard to get on camera. We practiced it right before, at 5 o'clock, we practiced a really fun music trip. She's got it down now, and I need to put the camera at a different angle. So this week, I am going to post this just fantastic, fun music trick where Gina is involved with my performing. You'll see. I can't do it live because I got to change the whole camera position. So I am doing a reading that may or may not make it into my memoir, I'm not sure. But the reason this came up for me is because it brought back, preparing for this, the Bach Chaconne, which has been for violin, brought back memories of a very close friend I had in high school. I'm going to date my age here. My 40th high school reunion was exactly 1 year ago today, this weekend. And in Syracuse, New York. I went to Fayetteville Manlius FM. I know Kim Osborne is often on here, any other FMers. And I actually read this at the I'll tell you which part of the high school reunion after I finish reading it. So I'm going to share this with you, it's a very, very personal story. And here we go. The title is Let's Be Wonderful Misfits Together. Laura was my saving grace in high school. We were two perfectly matched misfits, musicians who spent all our time talking about symphonies and concerti. I met her in sophomore year. Until then, I lived in a world of isolation. My best friend didn't go to school with me. My ever so faithful Steinway Grand was at home, always waiting for me, ready to turn my loneliness into a loving connection. Laura helped bridge the hours until I felt safe at my piano. Our music bonded us. A talented violist, she was equally devoted to her school studies, excelling in all subjects except physical education. She was excused from gym because she wore a back brace full-time. I don't know why she wore that cumbersome metal brace. Her long flowing black hair usually covered it, and we never discussed it. But the brace represented her as an outcast, and that was a symbol I wore too. The difference is that my symbol was invisible. I was so shy that I barely spoke to anyone in school. I bottled it all up until I got home to my piano, who was always ready to listen, hearing my voice through my fingers that fluently played her black and white keys. With my piano, I enjoyed a few hours of visibility every day. Laura and I both forfeited football games for practice time with our instruments at home. She went to symphony concerts with her mother, I went with my mom. Sometimes we met at those concerts, both in a world of music bliss. On weekends, she was busy with a local youth orchestra. I was involved in piano master classes and workshops. Monday mornings, we had so much to discuss about our music-filled weekends. We lived in our own world in high school, quietly blanketed by the ghosts of Mozart, Mahler, and Mendelssohn. I felt valued when I was with Laura. Being with her was a rare time in high school. I felt seen. In junior year, I won a local piano competition and was awarded with a performance as guest soloist with the Syracuse Symphony Orchestra. Debuting as soloist with an orchestra felt like the launch of my career as a concert pianist. To me, it was the most important moment of my life. I had prepared years for this. It was my big break, my big moment. Performing in a concert hall filled with 3,000 people for 3 nights in a row. It was exhilarating. My Nana flew up from Florida with my great uncle. A close pianist friend arrived from Virginia, and my musician friends and few non-musician friends were there. My parents hosted a festive reception for me after the first concert, which fell on my 17th birthday in January of senior year. To this day, I've never enjoyed a birthday more, except for one thing. Something was missing. Laura. She didn't show up for any of my concerts that weekend. I was devastated. When I met her on Monday morning before homeroom at our usual hangout in front of her corner locker, I timidly asked her why she didn't attend my performances. I don't remember exactly, but I think she said she had to practice her viola. I wish I had asked more questions to find out what was underneath her excuses. My 17-year-old self thought they sounded like lies. I assumed she was jealous and never spoke to her again. I outcasted the one person in high school who felt like my twin misfit. Months later, her mother came to her house and asked me to reconsider opening the door to our friendship. My heart was still broken, and I didn't. At high school graduation, we weren't speaking. We passed, hugging other classmates, but not each other. I had turned the tables and made myself invisible to her. She went off to study music at Eastman School of Music while I pursued my dreams at Juilliard. Years later, I found out the real reason she didn't go to the concert. I heard from a high school alumni that she couldn't afford a ticket and was too embarrassed to ask me for a comp ticket. I wanted to hug Laura and finally tell her I was sorry. It would all be okay, but there was no time for that anymore. Cancer took Laura's life when she was 28 years old. It then took me another 28 years before I forgave myself. Recently, I learned firsthand what it felt like not to afford a small ticket item, one that all of your friends assumed you could. I know the shame and embarrassment behind asking for financial help and the feeling of being a misfit because of financial separation. I also know that music, more than anything in my life, heals that pain. I hope music did the same for Laura. Laura, let's be wonderful misfits together as we continue to make music. While we do that in 2 different worlds, it still unites us. No matter how quietly I play, I know you'll always hear me and see me, and I'll remain forever grateful for the short time we had together. Laura, play on, and I will too. So with that, I am going to close. Thank you for indulging me and allowing me to share some very personal moments there. And so I shared that at my high school reunion. We had a memorial service for too many members who had passed. And Laura, including another best friend who grew up across the street from me, passed many years ago. And it was very healing to write that and to share that. I actually wrote it out of a writing assignment at writers camp last summer. And so this morning when I was practicing, I realized that playing left-hand music, of course now I'm playing music for two hands also, but playing left-hand music, it's another way I've become a misfit when I can only play piano with one hand. And I have fallen in love with being a misfit. I love being a misfit. You know, it's something you don't like when you're 17 years old, but at this age, I actually love it. So I am going to close the program with the Bach Chaconne. I've shared it several times, but I can never get enough of it. I know it's an audience favorite. It's the longest piece in the program. It's 12 minutes. We'll close the program with that. And it's just very, written for violin and then transcribed by Brahms for left hand. It's just very majestic, and I just love this piece. Thank you. Whew. And it's 7:02. Oh, thank you. Wow. I love that piece. Hope you do too. And thanks for indulging me. I know I've played it a few times before, and dare I say that might have been my best. I don't know until I listen to it, but right now I'm pleased with it. So, and that's going on my album, of course, Left Hand Lemonade. And so the more I play it, the more it helps me. And you know, it's just so, I don't know what emotions you were feeling. I look forward to reading your comments, but majestic, and I just love that piece so much. You know, there's certain music that it's like, the first time I heard it, I knew it was my piece. I really didn't know that piece until I had injured my right hand, and I think my right hand was still in a cast. I was exploring left-hand music. I only knew of the Bach, the Chaconne arranged for two hands. I'm just blanking. Everyone played it at Juilliard for a very virtuoso arrangement of it, but I didn't know of the Brahms arrangement for left hand. So I am going to sign off. Before I do, as always, this is a free service, and I so appreciate your donations. I left a PayPal link right in the program description, right at the top, the event description, and any donations are so appreciated. I was talking to a friend who was shocked, to me it's just kind of normal, who was shocked to know that I spend about 3 hours a day every day preparing for these. So it's a good chunk of my time between practicing, learning new music, marketing, and all this, sometimes more. The French program is more, the Old Chopin was more, sometimes a little less. And but I love it. It's something I really love spending my time doing. But it is it's a devotion of love. The other thing I'll share with you, for those of you who were last week, I learned a new piece for left hand. I played a Saint-Saëns Etude, and I was talking about my left whole side hurting. Oh my God, I discovered something new this week. So I reworked the Bach Chaconne. I hadn't played it in a month or two, and I haven't really been doing anything demanding for left hand alone. I've been doing lots of two-hand works as my right hand recovers. So what I noticed is the same feeling came back. It's like the first half of the week, my left hand side hurt and was so sore, and I was like my shoulder. And it's not enough for me to be playing two-hand music. I need to also, at the same time, being played, big works for left hand only to really develop those muscles I've learned. So again, thank you. I wish you a safe week, and I will be in touch with what's coming up next week. I do have a surprise coming next week. And if you are joining me on my mailing list, lisaspector.com, you will be attuned to that. So have a safe week, have a good week, and thank you again for spending your time with us. I so appreciate it. Gina and I are going to sign off, and I think I'm going to go have a glass of wine, and I hope you do too. Thank you.